Uh, Hello YouTube. I just got back from work. So I went over to my park that's a few blocks from my house, and I just want to come out here and just have a conversation with uh, the subscribers. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about was I wanted to clear up some stuff about the More Knowledge Association and what is it exactly that our company does. Because, I think a lot of people get confused with the whole stuff with we're going to take over the world and what we actually do on a day-to-day basis. And people don't understand some of the type of language that I use when I talk about certain things. So in our company, we do like to talk about things such as taking over the world. Now, that doesn't mean we're gonna like take over all the governments and you know control everything like that. But like what we mean is we believe that the world is controlled um, through 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 three areas, which would be education, the financial system, and through entertainment and like information sources. So we believe through those three things pretty much control the world. So I would not really say governments control the world or politicians. I think a lot of it is stuff that we don't really think about. So a lot of people focus on who the president is or all these elections, and they think that that is what really creates the biggest impact in the world. But the thing is, a lot of that's out of our control, because who knows with a lot of these elections? A lot of these elections are probably, it's when it comes down to like politics and government, it's a lot of sketchy stuff that's going on, and we can't really control that. It's like pretty much out of our control. But when it comes down to um, some of these other areas that are controlled by just regular people, we think if we can take over these spots, we can reverse the track that our planet is heading on. So we think through the financial system, we basically think that it's basically like a time bomb that was designed to eventually collapse. We were, but we are programmed to put trust into it. But what they've done is they made small changes in our financial system, from the type of currency we use to to different type of investments, different type of. I'm trying to figure out what the exact word, but they made small changes that are very hard to realize at first, but over time, the system has changed from what it might have been like um, a, a lot of years ago, when it was somewhat like sustainable, but then they made it unstable. So they've slowly changed some small parts of the overall system, and they've added in things that are unstable and are basically built to eventually collapse, because a lot of these things require um, okay, basically just know this. With the More Knowledge Association, what 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 we believe is that there was like years ago, the world was completely different. Well, which is obvious, but but the way the things were structured was supposed to be a sustainable like system. So it's not, you weren't supposed to have these things where it would just randomly collapse. It was supposed to be sustainable. But as the aliens took over, they didn't want to just take over through just like warfare, because that would destroy the planet. And if you destroy the planet, what's good is taking over a planet if you're just going to destroy everything. So they created a plan, That's why I wrote a book called The Alien Plan. They created a plan to slowly make small changes, and over time, through hundreds of years, they've recreated the old world structure, which the old world structure is actually something that you never hear about in history books. All right, you may hear like some things that kind of like relate to it, but most things you hear in history books or in history class or you learn about history, most refer to ideas or things that were caused through alien intervention. Now, also, another thing I want to talk about is when I talk about aliens, a lot of people think, am I talking about, creatures that came from outer space? But that is not necessarily the case, all right? It's not always creatures that come from outer space. Like, I don't really know what the aliens are, but I just give them a name, the aliens, because I don't know what they are. I just know that they're a group of people or whatever. It could be turtles, frogs, but these species think that, they're above everyone else and they want to control everything. All right, so basically they want to create a one world system in which they're able to control every aspect easily. So, and then everything that we do will be controlled by them. So we'll lose our freedoms and we will have no power. So that's what the More Knowledge Association sees, and we want to be the solution. All right, the whole point of starting a business is you notice a problem, then you need to provide a solution to that problem. And the problem we notice is big, because this is like the whole world, and our solution is also going to be big. But our solution is going to be many small solutions to solve small problems to eventually solve the big problem. All right, just like how the aliens did it, we're going to reverse what they did to us, and we're going to do it to them. So slowly, we're going to try to change things. But thing is, I'm not sure how much time we got left. I'm really not. All right, and I can go deep into how they control us in different areas. In fact, if you go on our website, I talk about how they've controlled through the three areas which I talk about basically control the world. But basically that's what we're doing. All right, we are providing a solution to a problem that is going to destroy the world if it's not solved. So, and right now, there are people who are kind of like in our space with this type of thinking, but not on as big of a scale as we are. We are like full on, we're gonna save the world, okay? Like, it's that simple. Like, we are going to save the world. Like, some of these people, they talk about, maybe like one problem that they see that is a problem. We're not just gonna solve that problem. We're gonna solve all the problems. And, I'm gonna come on here every once in a while. I'm gonna talk about what some of these problems are and maybe some potential solutions for how we're going to solve them. But that is what the More Knowledge Association is. Now, on the name, the More Knowledge Association. So for a long time, I've just called it the MKA. Because the MKA, we used to be known as something else, but then I just said, like, we need like a real name. So I'm calling it the More Knowledge Association. And, so the reason why it's called the More Knowledge Association, because most of these problems are going to be solved by giving the correct information, not really a product. Like, we're not going to create like a special type of smartphone that's going to solve these problems. It's all about knowledge, really, but it's about getting the correct type of knowledge. So our main product is going to be knowledge, and we're going to sell knowledge that will solve these problems. And basically, yeah, we are going to be a company that is designed to use knowledge and use information to save the world from aliens, or whatever you want to call them. I'll just call them aliens. So just know from now on, whenever I say aliens, I don't know what they are. All right, but I just call them aliens, okay? So anyway, yeah. That is today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, share it. Let's get the word out. Let's start spreading this thing. Let's make this go viral, you know. It may seem crazy, you know, and the reason why you think that these things I'm saying I'm so crazy, because that's how, you know, you've been taught to think. You've been taught to just put so much trust into everything that anyone who comes out and says, you know, this isn't working, this is bad, you think they've lost their mind. And that's okay. That's okay. Because it's understandable. You know, it's understandable. But alright, y'all, I'm done with this video. I'll see y'all soon. Yeah. Bye.